I'm Buzz McBride, and you have absolutely no reason to trust anything I say. Been sick a couple days, so this may come out a little weird, but I've been thinking a lot about economics, especially trickle down economics. We've been living in that experiment for over 40 years, and it really hasn't done anything to make the lives of the middle class any better. But we're still trying, even potentially digging deeper. That the proposed tax cuts that are coming would just be even further trickle down, and frankly, there's no trickle, and I think we all know that by now. Had an idea, but I want to start by explaining that I'm no economist, so none of this stuff is proven to work, and it's probably not even my original idea when it's all said and done. It's probably something somebody else came up with, and I just figured it out on my own or read it somewhere and forgot that I read it. Just reality. I'm not that smart. So here's what I see. And again, not an economist, but in my mind, in order for an economy to sustain itself indefinitely, one of three things has to happen. And ideally, probably a combination of the three, to be honest. So ultimately what it comes down to is the economy has to function to take care of its citizens. That's important. And that means that one of three things, and better yet, a combination of three things, would take place. And they have taken place throughout history. They just don't right now. So the deal is, those three things are, A, people have to make enough money to sustain a lifestyle, a basic lifestyle. It doesn't have to be exorbitant. It doesn't have to be luxurious, but a basic lifestyle. That makes sense, right? So they have to be able to make enough money to afford proper health care, proper nutrition, proper lodging. Those things have to be provided for. So we either have to pay people enough to do that on their own, or we have to rely on businesses to pick up on some of those things like healthcare, retirement, things like that, to help or provide for the workers. Third thing, the government provides those things. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, the first choice sounds ideal. Really, when you think about it, if everybody makes enough money to be able to provide these things for themselves, then it provides an individual freedom that some people are looking for, and it also provides what everybody needs. That's what it comes down to. And throughout history, we've had that mix where in some cases people were getting paid better, but not so much that they could afford to do all of those things on their own. So businesses picked up and they provide a pension plan. Now that's a 401k, and that's a whole different ballgame. But ultimately what it comes down to is, for trickle-down economics to work, the people who are way up here have to let things trickle. They're not. That's the reality. It's just not happening. It's not gonna happen unless we incentivize trickle-down economics. How do we do that? Well, rather than just handing the richest people in the world tax breaks and hoping that they're going to pass that down through the ranks, we give them an option. And we say, hey, we know you want to pay less in taxes, but the truth is, we need your money. And we need your money to take care of the people you're not paying properly. That's the reality of it. So how do we incentivize them? Well, we say, hey, we know you don't really want to pay your people right, and you don't really want to provide these services for free. and you don't want to pay taxes so that we can provide them. So we're going to switch it up a little bit. Top tier, you're going to pay 90% in taxes. And we know that's a lot of money and, in theory, a huge burden. So we'll give you some opportunities to reduce your tax rate. We can do that by this. You give your employees an old school pension plan like they used to be. Not a 401k, not something that's determined by the performance of the stock market, but by something that's determined by the amount of work they provided for your company. That makes sense. So we'll give you some we'll knock off some points for that. Hey, you know what? Introduce a proper profit sharing program for your employees. We'll knock some more points off. Give your employees employer-paid insurance benefits. We'll knock some more points off. Paid sick leave. Points off. Immediate PTO. Points off. You see what happens here? We take some of the burden off of the person and off of the government, and we put it on those businesses that have the money. And we're seeing now more and more the richest people in the world are just getting richer and richer. And they're not doing anything to help us. So you can, and I'm not, just to be clear, I'm not criticizing them. I'm not saying that they should buy everything for us. It's not at all what I'm saying, okay? Their responsibility is to pay for services because they have the money to pay for those services. That's their only real responsibility, folks. I mean, I'm not trying to put new responsibilities on them. I'm not an eat the rich guy. I'm just not. It doesn't mean that they can't do things to help things get better. And therein lies our problem. Because since the 80s, we've expected that businesses were going to take care of us by giving them a tax break. And since the 80s, the exact opposite has been happening. And Democrats, it's not all on the Republicans. Republicans, it's not all on the Democrats. Trickle-down economics has not gone anywhere. It doesn't matter who is in office. So this isn't right or left, blue or red, or even up and down. This is all of us. I love you all, even you.